Hi, everyone. It's Coach Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose, and it's getting late here. I just wanted to make sure that I hopped on and shared a little something with you because I was on a call today and a thought was brought up about my title, right? Are you using dysfunctional behaviors to avoid your past? Now, that might feel a little harsh, if that kind of stings or hits a button for you. I'm actually not going to apologize, but I'm going to ask you to sit with that. Why might it be hitting a button with you? The word dysfunctional, I think, is the first piece that kind of might sound harsh. So I'm going to break that down and really say we're just talking about behaviors that aren't working, right? Some of that, I think, comes from our early systems of survival that we've created. And oftentimes those are brought about by things in our childhood that we were trying as children to secure ourselves from, right? For whatever reason. That could be as basic as living in a space that didn't feel comfortable or safe. And so there could be some verbal cues that you're not safe. And so you shut down, you don't speak, you don't get out into anyone's space so that you don't have to deal with that. And it can go obviously much deeper and much further than that. But the real challenge then becomes that as we grow older, we're still using those defensive patterns and what we thought were at once, there to protect us. Those patterns are actually holding us back from being fully present. And, I want to say that this is something that in my own life as a survivor of childhood sexual and emotional abuse, I have had to move through, live with, and grow beyond. And in all of those ways, it has taken me many years, and different modalities, different opportunities to work with different people, both professionally and having a beautiful relationship that I have now. There are all of these layers of support that I had to bring around me to allow me to really understand and grow in the process to really standing up and being who I am. Over the weekend, I was at the Broadcast Your Authority live event and had the amazing opportunity to interview a gentleman who his name is Calvin, and I'll put all his information in the links, but you can watch the video because we did share it on Facebook. But what was really interesting is we're talking about the fact that, he's a prophet, I'm an oracle, and that even in both of our families, as we were growing up, there was the thing about us that was different and unique and special, wasn't well received. And so I asked him the question, what do you do with that? Where do you give yourself support? How do you reach out for support? How did you do that? And he shares with us in that interview a little bit about that. So I highly recommend going and watch that video. But what I think is important to recognize is that's the thing that we need to understand. All of us who have our own special something, the thing that makes us different, the thing that makes us unique, the very thing that we're here to deliver. If we were not supported early on and have the opportunity to be seen as special and unique and valuable, right? The word I heard a lot this weekend as well was worthy. Then it can be a long road out and back in again. And I say that because we can, I think there's a lot of those same people are really highly functioning, successful leaders. And part of that, I think, is that there is, theoretically, that there is a deep desire to prove those who tried to hold us down wrong. Conversely, internally, we're still dealing with the system, the dysfunctional behavior patterns that are keeping us stuck. So it's this idea of being kind of in two worlds, right? On the one side, many powerful, amazing, incredible, gifted leaders are dealing with this dysfunction, either, very visibly or internally. So you can't really see it on the outside. And what I see when I work with people like that is that they are basically out of alignment, and these pieces of this past that they have, this trauma, especially and specifically for me, I know I tend to attract people that have similar stories as I do. So a lot of that comes around, sexual, emotional abuse, that level of, disconnect from our beautifulness, right? Our worthiness as human beings. As I've been saying lately, and you might have heard that before, that that 1 in 400 quadrillion chance that we were chosen to be here, like that matters. You matter, and that you're here on purpose, of course. So for me right now, as I'm right now, in fact, you'll see below, we just started the Find Your Business Sweet Spot Challenge. And what I'm recognizing is that is that place between is the sweet spot, when we can honor both of those things, when we can honor the leader who learned all the skills and the tools to overcome and move forward and be real and be alive here today to make a difference, and still has this piece that is being held back and kind of covered by those old dysfunctional thoughts and beliefs and behaviors. And once we can really move past that, uncover it, bring it forward, then we get to have the full breadth of the human that was meant to be, right? All together. And that's why I am doing this challenge. That's why I took one of my most valuable tools that I use to work with my own clients, my VIP clients that pay me thousands of dollars to work with me. This is part of that main thing we do. It's something I do with every one of them, because I want them to understand this for themselves, and also because I understand that it's a big part of releasing energy in their life and their business so that they can really just change everything, and it's not just about up-leveling to the very next level. It's about knowing that you can just turn that chapter and really have an entirely different experience of what that fullness, that possibility that you are. So if you aren't in the challenge yet, it's not too late for that. So I know it's late tonight, but it's not too late for that. So you can join us. I will put the link here in the chat, so you can definitely do that. And it's not too late to start it, and it's actually not even too late today if you're on the West Coast to get into the daily prize contest. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on here for you guys so you have it. And I just want you to know that whether you join the challenge or not, I want to encourage you to ask yourself if anything I just said sounds kind of like it's hitting a nerve. Ask yourself, what will it be like when those pieces of who you are fully aligned? Can you imagine an experience for yourself where you show up every day fully aligned and on purpose? This past weekend, for me, what that looked like was being able to say yes to something that was an opportunity, knowing that it was going to take me one step closer to my purpose, and do it with so much ease, right? Just there's a faithful experience of just showing up on purpose. It allows you to just be present and to really focus for yourself on what you know, right? Like that whole inner knowingness. And when you do that and you're alive in that place, then what I experience and what I've seen for my clients is that what seems to be magical experiences happen. You connect to just the right people. You have opportunities to receive in a myriad of ways because the universe is just rushing in to give you whatever tools and resources you need to stay in that lane, to stay in that track. And it's kind of, it's maybe a little bit of a double-bladed sword, right? Because it is a narrow path, perhaps, or more narrow than you've been experiencing. It's also perhaps a new one, right? So the other thing that I see with my clients is that it feels uncomfortable in its newness, right? So even though it feels really good, and maybe at the beginning, there's a part of us that is used to, right? Like there's a pattern of how we've been living that has to be released in order for us to continue to move forward in this new way. So there's a giving and a taking and a receiving and a releasing that has to happen. And as I was talking to some people this week, it's like, when you take the leap of faith, which I always recommend, when you take the leap of faith, there's the moment when you've got the one vine that you've been clinging to and you swing out towards the next one. And as you grab the next one, you have to let go of this one. But when we're taking a true leap of faith, we're far enough away, right, between those two usually, that we have to let go of both, right? We don't yet have the new one, but we have to let go of the old one in order to reach it. And in between, like we're hovering between the leap. And in that space between, there's nothing under us, and we're not holding on to anything except that truth and belief in the place we're going, right? So the clearer we can be where we want to land, right? To have that clear inner vision, that clarity of purpose, then we can give ourselves permission to rise up in that space and experience it fully. I don't want to say that's not going to be scary, maybe sometimes. But I think that when we recognize it as that kind of attraction, like that's the way it's happening, that we can then be comfortable in a way with that expectation, right? So like we're expecting it to be like that between the two, right? The beginning of where we leap and the place we're going to, that there is that leap between. And in that space between, if we can be aware for ourselves that it is part of the process to get to the other side, then I think what's really great about that is we get to rest, energetically rest, right? We get to energetically rest in the knowing. And to me, that's faith, right? That's the moment when we know we're living in faith. We're showing up in faith in regards to this. So that, again, is part of the reason that I wanted to use this particular technique, this particular piece of my work that I do with my clients to share as a free challenge. Because honestly, for me, I feel like until someone has that skill locked down, then there's always the risk of going back. There's always this sense of losing yourself in that mid jump and either crashing because you're not looking at where you're going anymore, and you kind of either crash on the wall on the other side, or you tumble out into space, right? And you feel lost and you feel confused or overwhelmed. So the idea of having this inner compass that says that you can tap into wherever you are, that shows you like, no, this is where I'm going. Everything's going to be okay. I don't have to look down, right? Don't look down. I don't have to look down. I just have to look forward. And so my hope is that whether or not you join the challenge, like I said, which of course I hope you do, because I think it's really great. And I would love to hear from all of you how the experience of doing this process is for you, that whether you do it or not, you start to look at how you're showing up in purpose in your life and your business, and start to understand perhaps if you are one of those really high functioning leaders who feels like even though you're reaching one level and the next level and you're making money and things are going well, and you get to the next level that you've set for yourself or the next goal that you set for yourself, and still somehow when you're done the next day, the next 24 hours, maybe even sadly for some, as soon as you've crossed that finish line, that what's great, what's next, and why doesn't this feel like I thought it was going to feel? What is off? What is missing there? And I would just, encourage you to ask ask more questions. And if you want to reach out to me, please feel free to do so. Actually, tonight, since I'm just inspired and Oracle just said to do it, I'm going to go ahead right here and I'm going to put, I have a few spots left this week. So if you are one of those people and you just feel like maybe I'm talking to you and you want to know for sure, I'm going to put a link on here, which I don't typically give out. So this will disappear. I will take this comment off probably tomorrow, but just click on this link and we can chat. So it's going to say, it's the one that says private conf with Leah. I hope that worked, and we'll find out. So one way or the other, I just want to encourage you to know that if anything I've said resonates with you, or somebody who it might resonate with, share it. And if you feel like you want to just take the opportunity to dive into some quick little videos and find out by following a quick process whether or not you are in full alignment, or there is a part of this puzzle that maybe is missing. And once you have it, you get to have a tool that lasts forever. So I encourage you, either come on over and join us. Again, you have until 10 o'clock tonight if you're on the West Coast, to get your comment in on the post for tonight in the group. And if not, don't worry, because you can continue to participate all the way through the week. We just started. So that's it for me. I hope you're all having an amazing evening and a happy, happy week. And I will be back soon to talk more about not only just obviously the challenge, but just an excitement to talk about my Oracle Live TV program is continuing to get great guests. So that'll be Wednesday night. So I'll see you then too. So either way, I'll see you soon. Have a great night. And remember, you are here on purpose.